Hello class, how are you all? So are you ready to start this last chapter of our history book, which is chapter 13, Towards Independence and After. In this chapter you will study about Declaration of India's Independence by Attlee, Mountbatten Plan, Indian Constitution, Indian democracy, India's foreign relations, Indian society, challenges to Indian democracy, India vision beyond 2020. So let's first begin with Declaration of India's Independence by Attlee. On 20 February 1947, the British Prime Minister Attlee declared that British would quit India and transfer power into responsible hands by June 1948. Lord Mountbatten was declared the new Viceroy of India in March 1947. He started working on India's independence fastly. He talked with many leaders and concluded that the partition of India into India and Pakistan was the only choice. Mahatma Gandhi and Maulana Abul Kalam Azad were totally against the partition. In July 1947, the Indian Independence Bill was passed in the British Parliament. India became free on 15th August 1947. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India. Mountbatten Plan. Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister of Britain, designed the Indian Independence Act 1947, which was passed in 1947. The Indian political parties agreed on the transfer of power from the British government to the independent Indian government and the partition of India. The act was also known as Mountbatten Plan. Main features of the Indian Independence Act 1947. The British rule of India will end with immediate effect. Two nations as India and Pakistan were to be set up and each will draw its own constitution. An independent dominion of India was made, including the United Provinces under the British Madras Presidency, Carnatic, East Punjab, West Bengal, Assam, etc. This is the image of Jawaharlal Nehru hoisting a flag at Red Fort on the day of independence. West Punjab, Northwest Frontier Provinces, Sindh and East Bengal would go to Pakistan. The princely states were given the freedom to decide which dominion to join. India and Pakistan dominions were granted complete freedom and they became members of British Commonwealth. Lord Mountbatten was the last Viceroy of India. He became the first Governor General of independent India. Chakrabarti Rajgopalachari was appointed the next Governor General. He was the first Indian to become a Governor General. 560 princely states joined India. The states of Junagadh and Hyderabad joined India after military action. Do you know, at the time of partition, about 6 million people crossed the border in a two-way exodus. Communal riots claimed thousands of lives on both sides. Some other colonial states which were under foreign rule were also liberated. Pondicherry from the French in 1953-54, Goa from the Portuguese in 1961 and Sikkim from the British protectorates in 1975 became part of Free India. Indian Constitution. The Constituent Assembly was formed as per the provinces of Cabinet Mission Plan. It had indirectly elected members of the provincial legislative assemblies. Its first session was held in 1946. It reassembled on August 14, 1947 as the Sovereign Constituent Assembly for the Dominion of India. The Constitution was passed on November 26, 1949 and adopted on January 26, 1950. When India became a republic. Republic means that state, country, where head is elected directly, not indirectly. India is a multilingual, cultural and religious nation. All the languages and religions are treated with respect here. The Constituent Assembly took almost 3 years, 2 years, 11 months and 17 days to complete its drafting. Dr. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Dr. Rajendra Prasad became the first president of India. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became the Prime Minister and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel the Deputy Prime Minister of independent India. India held its first general election in 1952. 62% voters cast their votes. The Indian economy has made great strides since 1947. It was a challenge for the leaders to rebuild the nation, which was subjected to exploitation for a long period of time. India has undergone great infrastructural upgradation. Many people had predicted that India, because of its diversities in culture, religion, caste, language, manners, and identities, will not be able to work as a united democratic country. But such predictions were wrong. In spite of having numerous internal and external problems, India has survived as a nation with a single unified identity. Unfortunately, our progress has been hampered by terrorism and cross-border attacks. Now, we have progressed in both the industries and agriculture. Our government has made a policy of encouraging indigenous industries and given them a lot of assistance. We have developed our infrastructure like power, information technology, communication, transport, etc. Green and white revolution is the witness of our agricultural development. Do you know, though Indian economy has progressed tremendously, yet compared to developed countries, we still need improvement in every section. Japan is much smaller than India but has developed at a very fast rate in technology. India followed the planned policy of development of USSR. 5-year plans were made to ensure systematic progress in all sectors. The first 5-year plan was formulated in 1950 at Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the first president of the Planning Commission. Now we are in the 12th 5-year plan. These plans allocate resources for the progress of sectors like industry, agriculture, irrigation and transport. Indian democracy. India is the largest democracy in the world. In 1947, we were 400 million, but now we are a country of over 1 billion people. The path that independent India had to follow was planned during freedom struggle itself. It aimed at vesting power in the hands of people. It was necessary to have a system where all religions, regions, languages, community would enjoy equal status and opportunity without any discrimination. Our democratic government has also protected the interest of the backward sections of the society. The Congress under Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru controlled the reins of the government after independence till 1964. But 1967 was a turning point when some regional parties came into existence and prominence. This was a real sense of democracy. After that, Gandhi family dominated the Indian political scene till 1977. In spite of all the changes and challenges, Indian democracy has not faltered from its onward march. Indian democracy has functioned successfully except for 2 years when a state of emergency was imposed 1975 by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister. After 1977, some political parties succeeded in controlling the power for short spells, but they could not sustain their government. In recent times, we have witnessed policies of front and alliances which are formed to contest the elections or after the elections to form the government. The supporting parties either join the government or support it from outside without joining the government, depending on the conditions of the alliances or fronts. India's foreign relations. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the chief architect of our foreign policy. Our foreign policy reflects our role and involvement in world affairs. The basis of our foreign policy are the 5 principles of Panchsheel. They are mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty, mutual non-interference in each other's internal matters, equality and mutual benefits, and peaceful coexistence. Our main motto is promotion of world peace, anti-imperialism, anti-racialism, Panchsheel, non-alignment, friendly relation with neighbors, regional cooperation, belief in United Nations and non-aligned movement. Indian society. India had to face many challenges after independence. The hurdles like illiteracy, poverty, caste, classes, women, discrimination, etc. were prevalent in the society. They were the hurdles in the progress of our country. Our government took many steps to achieve social progress in India, though legislation and social movements like Seva Shakti projects, which has been introduced as a self-help group of 15 to 20 women to start some productive work with financial assistance by the government. This is a picture of Acharya Vinoba Bhave. Acharya Vinoba Bhave's Bhudan movement created a just and equitable society by redistribution of excess land from landlord to the landless farmers. Challenges to Indian democracy. At present, India has achieved multifarious social and economic progress, but at the time of independence, it was Herculean task. Millions of refugees, the extreme poverty, empty chest created a delicate situation for the newly formed independent country. there was shortage of everything, from food to medicine, from industries and infrastructure to skilled manpower, from housing to education facilities. Social evils were hampering the progress of our country. A massive nationwide program was launched and India made great progress in industry, economy, transport, communication, science and other spheres also. India has emerged as a unified and developed nation. We have solved many issues, but poverty and illiteracy continues to haunt us. We have undergone through a major political, cultural and economic changes since independence, but there are many issues that still need improvement. India Vision Beyond 2020. It is great need for every nation to have a vision to motivate all segments of society to make progress in every field. The vision will stir the imagination of the most developed nation, India. It is the dream of every Indian that India should progress as a vibrant and dynamic country and make great progress in all the fields. Better quality of education at all levels, from basic literacy to high-tech science and technology, raising of agricultural productivity and industrial quality, speedy growth of IT and biotechnology, improving health and nutrition, tackling issues related to population growth, energy and water conservation, peace and security are required. In by the words of our ex-president Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the is not far when enlightened and ignited minds will transform India into a competitive, beautiful nation. This is the image of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and his vision, Vision 2020. Do you know, cross-border attacks and terrorism are the main hurdles of our democracy and to the peace of the country. Now let's sum up this last chapter, which is, in summing up, Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister of Britain, designed the Indian Independence Act 1947, which was passed in 1947. The act was also known as Mountbatten Plan. The Constituent Lord Mountbatten was the last Viceroy of India. He became the first Governor General of independent India. The Constituent Assembly was formed as per the provisions of Cabinet Mission Plan. India is the largest democracy in the world. In 1947, we were 400 million, but now we are a country of over 1 billion people. Thank you, class. Let's meet next time.